I froze. I'm 63 years old, and this was the moment I'd been dreading for 14 years. My phone was ringing, and I knew exactly who it was before I even looked at the screen. My son, Marcus. Mom, I need to talk to you about Lily. My heart sank. Lily, my granddaughter, the little girl with cerebral palsy that he'd walked away from when she was just 3 years old. The child I'd raised alone while he moved to California to find himself. And now, after all these years, after all the sleepless nights, the therapy appointments, the fights with insurance companies, the tears and the triumphs, now he wanted to talk about her. What about Lily? I asked, my voice steadier than I felt. I heard about her music. Mom, I had no idea she was that talented. We need to discuss her future. I think I should be involved in managing her career. Managing her career. Those words made my blood run cold. Because 3 weeks ago, Lily's violin performance had gone viral on TikTok. 5 million views in 2 days. A record label had reached out. They wanted to sign her. The advance? $2.4 million. And now, suddenly, Marcus remembered he had a daughter. Let me back up. Let me tell you how we got here. 14 years ago, my son Marcus was married to a woman named Jennifer. They had Lily when they were both 28. Beautiful, perfect Lily. But when she was 18 months old, we noticed something was wrong. She wasn't walking. She couldn't stand without support. The diagnosis came quickly. Cerebral palsy, affecting her legs and her right arm. Marcus couldn't handle it. I watched my son, my own child, slowly distance himself from his daughter. He'd come home late. He'd volunteer for every business trip. He stopped going to doctor's appointments. And Jennifer, bless her heart, she tried. She really did. But the stress, the financial burden, the constant medical needs, it broke their marriage in 6 months. The divorce was ugly. Neither of them wanted custody. They actually argued about who would have to take her. I sat in that lawyer's office and listened to my son say, I can't do this. I'm not equipped for a special needs child. It's not fair to anyone. So I stood up. I was 49 years old, newly retired from teaching, and I said, I'll take her. Marcus looked relieved. Jennifer cried but nodded. And just like that, I became a mother again. Those first years were brutal. Lily needed physical therapy 3 times a week, occupational therapy twice a week. She had surgeries, 3 of them, to help lengthen her heel cords and improve her mobility. We had a walker, then leg braces, then eventually she could use a cane. Insurance covered maybe 60%. I drained my retirement account. I sold the house I'd lived in for 30 years and moved into a smaller apartment closer to the children's hospital. Marcus sent money sometimes. $200 here, $500 there. Never consistent. Never enough. He remarried after 2 years. Moved to San Francisco. Had 2 more kids, perfectly healthy ones. He sent Christmas cards with photos of his new family. Lily wasn't in them. But here's what Marcus didn't know. Here's what he never bothered to find out. Lily was extraordinary. When she was 5, during one of her physical therapy sessions, the therapist was playing classical music in the background. Vivaldi's 4 Seasons. Lily stopped mid-exercise and just listened. Tears were streaming down her face. She looked at me and said, Grandma, that's the most beautiful thing I've ever heard. The next week, I took her to a music store. They had a small violin section. I asked if she could try one. The employee looked skeptical, this little girl with leg braces and a weak right arm. But he handed her a quarter-size violin anyway. Lily held it, positioned it against her shoulder, drew the bow across the strings. It was scratchy and awful, but her face lit up like nothing I'd ever seen. I bought that violin with my last credit card. It cost $340. Best money I ever spent. She practiced every single day. Her right arm was weak, so she had to build strength just to hold the bow properly. It took her 2 years to play a simple scale, but she never gave up, never complained, just practiced. I found her a teacher, Mrs. Chen, who specialized in teaching disabled students. Mrs. Chen didn't charge much, but she gave Lily something priceless, She believed in her. She adapted techniques. She found ways to work around Lily's physical limitations. She taught Lily that her disability didn't define her music, it informed it. By the time Lily was 10, she was playing in local recitals. By 12, she'd won a regional youth competition. By 14, she was performing pieces that made professional musicians stop and listen. But she was still my Lily. Still the little girl who needed help getting dressed some mornings when her muscles were tight. Still the teenager who sometimes cried because kids at school called her gimp or cripple. Still my granddaughter who'd never gotten a birthday call from her father. Until 3 weeks ago, Lily had been practicing a piece Paganini's Caprice No. 24. It's one of the most technically difficult violin pieces ever written. Most professional violinists struggle with it. Lily had been working on it for 8 months. Her friend Emma thought it would be cool to record it and post it on TikTok. I didn't think much of it. Emma posted the video at 10 p.m. on a Tuesday. By Wednesday morning, it had 50,000 views. By Wednesday afternoon, 200,000. The comments poured in. This is incredible. Who is this girl? Why isn't she famous? That technique is flawless. Wait, is she using a cane? This is even more amazing. By Thursday, music blogs were writing articles. By Friday, Good Morning America wanted her on the show. By the following Monday, we had 17 emails from talent agencies and 4 from record labels. The biggest offer came from Stellar Records. They wanted to sign Lily to a 3-album deal. The advance was $2.4 million. They wanted to market her as a prodigy, the violinist who overcame everything. They had plans for a tour, a documentary, a whole brand. I was terrified. Excited, but terrified. This was life-changing money. This could pay for Lily's college, her medical bills for years, everything we'd struggled for. But it was also overwhelming. I'm a retired teacher. I know nothing about the music industry. I needed help. I called my lawyer, Mrs. Patricia Velasquez, who'd helped me with the guardianship papers 14 years ago. She connected me with an entertainment lawyer, David Kwan. David looked over the contract, negotiated some changes, and told me, "This is legitimate. This is a good deal. But Lily's a minor. You need to set up a trust. Get everything in writing. Protect her interests." We were in the process of doing exactly that when Marcus called. "Mom, we should meet. I want to see Lily." I didn't trust this. Not for a second. "Marcus, you haven't seen her in 14 years. You missed her birthday last month. You didn't even send a card." I know. I was a terrible father. But I want to make it up to her. I want to be in her life now. Now? Now that she's about to be rich? Silence on the other end. Then, "That's not fair, Mom. I've been dealing with my own issues. Therapy, you know. Working through things. I'm in a better place now. I want to reconnect with my daughter." I wanted to believe him. Part of me, the part that still loved my son despite everything, wanted to believe he'd genuinely changed. But the timing was too convenient. "Let me talk to Lily," I said. "It's her decision." Lily's face when I told her was heartbreaking. She looked hopeful and terrified at the same time. "He wants to see me." "Really?" "He says he does. Does he know about the music?" I nodded. Her expression shifted. Something hardened in her eyes, something that looked too old for a 17-year-old. "He knows about the money. Maybe that's not." "Grandma." She looked at me directly. "He knows about the money. That's why he's calling." She was right, of course. But we agreed he could visit. I thought maybe, just maybe, I was being too cynical. Marcus flew in the following week. He brought his wife, Stephanie, and their 2 kids, Lily's half-siblings, ages 10 and 8. They showed up at our apartment on a Saturday afternoon. The moment Marcus saw Lily, he started crying. He hugged her. She stood there stiffly, not hugging back, leaning on her cane. "Look at you," he said. "You're so grown up. You're beautiful." Lily didn't say anything. We sat down. It was awkward. Marcus kept trying to make conversation, asking about school, about her music, about her life. Every answer was short. Yes. No. Fine. She wasn't rude, just guarded. Then Stephanie spoke up. "We heard about the record deal. That's so exciting. You must be overwhelmed." "We're managing," I said carefully. "Well, Marcus and I were thinking now that he's ready to be back in Lily's life, maybe we should discuss the logistics of all this. The contract, the money management, everything." There it was. Not even an hour into the first visit in 14 years, and we were talking about money. "We have lawyers handling it," I said. Of course. But Marcus is her father. He should have a say in major decisions about her future. Legally, he still has rights." My stomach dropped. "Rights?" "He gave up custody." "No," Marcus said quietly. "I gave you guardianship. That's different. I never terminated my parental rights. Legally, I'm still her father. I still have a say." I looked at Lily. Her face had gone pale. The visit ended shortly after. As soon as they left, I called Patricia Velasquez. "Can he do this?" I asked. "Can he actually claim rights after abandoning her for 14 years? Patricia's voice was grim. "It depends. He never formally terminated his parental rights. He's been paying some child support, even if it's inconsistent. If he goes to court, he might have a case. At minimum, he could tie things up legally for months, maybe years. That could jeopardize the record deal." "What do I do?" "Document everything. Get a family law attorney. And prepare for a fight." 2 days later, we got served with papers. Marcus was filing for joint custody and claiming he should have co-guardianship over Lily's financial affairs, since she was still a minor. His lawyer was arguing that I'd been keeping Lily from him, alienating her from her father, and that he deserved to be involved in major life decisions, including the record contract. The petition made me sound like a villain. Like I'd stolen his daughter. Like I'd prevented a relationship. There was no mention of him abandoning her. No mention of the years I'd struggled alone. No mention of the fact that he'd built a whole new family while pretending Lily didn't exist. I hired a lawyer, Robert Morrison, who specialized in family law and custody battles. He was expensive, $400 an hour. But David Kwan recommended him, said he was the best. Our first meeting was sobering. "Here's the problem," Robert said. "He's her biological father. He never formally gave up rights. He's paid some support. And he's arguing he wants to be in her life now. Courts favor reunification. They want kids to have relationships with both parents. But he abandoned her. That's what we'll argue. But his lawyer will say he was young, overwhelmed, going through mental health issues. They'll paint him as a father who made mistakes but wants to make amends. And his timing, while suspicious to us, isn't illegal." "What about what Lily wants?" "She's 17. The court will consider her wishes, but she's still a minor. If he pushes for joint custody, he might get it." "And the money?" Robert hesitated. "If he gets any kind of custody, he could argue for co-guardianship of her finances. Even if he doesn't get that, he could delay the contract signing indefinitely with legal challenges. Stellar Records won't wait forever." I felt sick. "So we might lose everything." "Not everything. But it's going to be complicated. And expensive. This could cost you $50,000, $60,000 in legal fees easily. Money I didn't have. Money that would need to come from Lily's advance if we ever got it." Lily took it better than I expected. When I told her about the lawsuit, she just nodded. "I knew he'd do this. I'm so sorry, sweetheart." "Don't be." She picked up her violin. "We'll figure it out." Over the next 6 weeks, the legal battle consumed our lives. Depositions, paperwork, documentation. Robert had me compile 14 years of evidence. Medical records showing I'd taken Lily to every appointment. School records showing I was listed as the guardian on every form. Therapy notes. Financial records showing I'd paid for everything, while Marcus sent sporadic, minimal payments. We had to prove that Marcus had essentially abandoned Lily, that I'd been her primary caregiver, that his sudden interest was motivated by money rather than genuine love. Marcus's lawyer, a shark named Andrew Peterson, painted a different picture. He argued Marcus had been battling depression after the divorce, that he'd been in therapy, that he'd always loved Lily but felt inadequate as a father to a disabled child, that he'd trusted me to care for her while he got his life together, that he'd sent money when he could, that he deserved a second chance. And the thing is, some of it was probably true. Marcus probably had been depressed. He probably had felt inadequate, but that didn't change the fact that he'd left. That he'd chosen his new family over his first daughter. That he'd only come back when she was worth millions. The court date was set for October 15th. Judge Caroline Fletcher presiding. Robert told me to prepare for anything. The judge could order joint custody, could order family therapy, could maintain the status quo. We won't know until we're in there. The night before court, Lily couldn't sleep. I found her at 2 a.m., sitting in the living room, holding her violin but not playing it. What if I have to live with him? She asked. That won't happen. But what if it does? What if the judge makes me? I sat next to her. Then we'll deal with it. But I don't think that's going to happen. He doesn't love me, Grandma. He loves the idea of me now. The successful me. The me that can make him look good. I know, baby. But I can't say that in court, can I? If I say that, I'll sound like an ungrateful daughter. I'll sound like you turned me against him. She was right. That was exactly what Peterson would argue. Just tell the truth, I said. Tell the judge what you experienced. Your truth. The courtroom was smaller than I expected. Judge Fletcher was a black woman in her 50s, with sharp eyes and a no-nonsense demeanor. She looked at the file in front of her, then at all of us. This is a petition for modified custody and financial guardianship, she said. Mr. Williams, you're seeking joint custody of your minor daughter and co-guardianship of her financial affairs. Mrs. Williams. She looked at me. You're the maternal grandmother who's had primary physical custody for 14 years, and you're opposing this petition. Is that correct? We both confirmed. I've reviewed the briefs. Let's begin with testimony. Mr. Peterson, call your first witness. Marcus took the stand. Peterson led him through his story, the divorce, the depression, the feeling of inadequacy, the trust he'd placed in me to care for Lily. Marcus cried on the stand. Actual tears. I was a coward, he said. I was 29 years old, and I didn't know how to be a father to a child with special needs. I was ashamed of that. I ran away from it. But I've been in therapy for years now. I've done the work, and when I heard about Lily's success, I realized I've missed so much of her life. I want to be her father now. I want to be there for her. And the record contract? Peterson asked. The $2.4 million. Is that why you're here? No. Marcus looked directly at the judge. I don't want her money. I want my daughter. If anything, I want to help protect her money. She's 17. She needs guidance. She needs a father to help her navigate this industry. I want to be that father. It was a good performance. I had to give him that. Then it was our turn. Robert called me to the stand first. I walked through everything taking custody when Lily was 3. The medical appointments, the surgeries, the therapy, the financial strain, the years of being there for every single moment of her life. Did Mr. Williams visit? Robert asked. Twice. Once when Lily was 5, for about 3 hours. Once when she was 9, for dinner. That's it. 2 visits in 14 years. Did he call? Occasionally. Every few months. Maybe. Sometimes he'd go 6 months without calling. Lily stopped asking about him around age 10. Did he attend medical appointments? Never. School events? Never. Recitals? Never. Did he know about her musical talent? I sent him videos over the years. He never responded. Robert showed the judge emails I'd sent Marcus, videos of Lily playing at age 8, age 10, age 13. None of them had responses. Then Robert called Lily. My heart pounded as she walked to the stand, her cane tapping against the floor. She sat down, adjusted her leg braces, and looked at the judge. Peterson cross-examined her first. He was gentle, knowing he couldn't be too aggressive with a disabled teenager. Lily, do you remember your father? Barely. Would you like to have a relationship with him? She paused. This was the moment. This was where she could say what she really thought, or where she could play it safe. Mr. Peterson, can I ask you a question? She said. He looked surprised. I suppose. Where were you on August 12th, 2019? I don't know. That's 4 years ago. I do. That was the day I had my third surgery. They lengthened my heel cords. I was in the hospital for 5 days. I was 12 years old, and I was terrified. Do you know who was there? My grandma. Every single day. She slept in a chair next to my bed. She helped me to the bathroom. She held my hand during physical therapy when I cried because it hurt so badly. She turned to look at Marcus. Do you know who wasn't there? My father. Do you know who didn't call? My father. Do you know who didn't even send a card? My father. Lily Peterson started. I'm not finished. Her voice was calm, but firm. Do you know what day my TikTok went viral? September 28th. Do you know when my father called? October 1st, 3 days later. 14 years of silence, and 3 days after I become worth millions. Suddenly he remembers I exist. The courtroom was silent. Do I want a relationship with him? Lily continued. I don't know. Maybe someday. But not like this. Not with lawyers. Not with him trying to control my money. Not with him pretending he cares when what he really cares about is the contract. Your Honor, Peterson interjected. This is. Judge Fletcher held up her hand. Let her speak. Lily took a breath. I know the law says. He's my father. But my grandma? She's been my everything. She gave up her retirement for me. She sold her house for me. She spent nights awake with me when my muscles hurt. She drove me to therapy 3 times a week for years. She found Mrs. Chen. She bought my first violin when she could barely afford groceries. She believed in me when I was just a disabled kid with a dream. She looked at the judge. I'm 17 years old. In 8 months, I'll be 18 and none of this will matter. He can't control me then. So I have to ask, what's 8 months? Why can't we wait? Why does he need access to my money right now? If he really wants a relationship, 8 months shouldn't matter. We could do therapy. Take it slow. Build something real. But he's not willing to wait. Because this isn't about me. It's about the money. Judge Fletcher was writing notes. Her face was unreadable. Thank you, Lily, she said. You can step down. Then she looked at both lawyers. I'm ready to rule. My heart stopped. I've seen a lot of cases like this, Judge Fletcher said. Parent disappears, shows up when there's money involved. It's sadly common. The law is complicated here because Mr. Williams never terminated his rights. Technically, he is still her father. But this isn't about technicalities. It's about what's best for this child. She looked at Marcus. Mr. Williams, I believe you when you say you struggled. I believe you may have been depressed. But I also believe your daughter when she says your timing is suspicious. You had 14 years to work on yourself. 14 years to try to be a father. And you chose not to. You don't get to show up now and claim authority over her life and her finances because it's convenient for you. She turned to me. Mrs. Williams, you've clearly been this child's primary caregiver. The evidence is overwhelming. You've sacrificed everything for her. That's commendable. Then she looked at Lily. And Lily, you're a remarkable young woman. You've handled this situation with more grace and maturity than most adults. She made her ruling. I'm denying the petition for modified custody. Mrs. Williams will retain sole physical and legal custody of Lily until she turns 18. I'm also denying the petition for co-guardianship of financial affairs. Mrs. Williams will maintain sole authority over Lily's finances and contracts. I almost sobbed with relief. However, the judge continued, I am ordering family therapy. Mr. Williams, if you truly want a relationship with your daughter, you'll do the work to build it properly. Not through lawyers and court orders, but through therapy and genuine effort. I'm ordering 12 sessions with a family therapist to begin within 30 days. After that, if Lily wishes to continue contact, you may. If she doesn't, you'll respect that decision. She looked at Peterson. As for legal fees, given that this petition was clearly motivated by financial interest rather than genuine parental concern, I'm ordering Mr. Williams to pay Mrs. Williams' legal fees. All of them. Marcus's face went white. That was $60,000. Court is adjourned. We walked out of that courtroom, and Lily hugged me tighter than she ever had. "We did it, Grandma." "You did it, sweetheart. You were incredible." 2 weeks later, we signed the contract with Stellar Records. The advance money was placed in a trust, managed by a financial advisor David Kwan recommended. Lily would have access to controlled amounts for college and living expenses, but the bulk would be protected until she was 25. Marcus paid the legal fees, though his lawyer tried to negotiate it down. Robert wouldn't budge. Every penny. We did go to family therapy. 6 sessions. Marcus showed up for 4 of them. In the last session, Lily told him, "I don't hate you, I'm just not ready. Maybe someday. But not now." He nodded. He apologized. He left. Lily's album came out 6 months later. It went platinum. She did a tour 12 cities, all accessible venues. I was with her for every show. She's 18 now, technically an adult, but she still lives with me. She says she likes it that way. Marcus sends emails sometimes. Short ones. "Heard your album. It's beautiful. Saw you on TV. I'm proud." She responds sometimes. Short replies. "Thank you. Maybe one day they'll have a real relationship. Maybe not. But that's Lily's choice now. Not his. Not mine. Hers. And me? I'm 63 years old. I'm tired. My back hurts from all those years of lifting a little girl in and out of leg braces. My savings are depleted. But I look at Lily, brilliant, talented, strong Lily, and I'd do it all again. Every single moment. Because she wasn't just my granddaughter. She was my second chance at motherhood. And this time, I got it right.